Yo, let's get the business. How you feeling today? Ladies and gentlemen, the Derby is starting to, we're creeping closer to Derby time. Raining right now, rainy day. You know what I mean? The sports world is still active though. The transfer portal is starting to ramp up and amp up quite tremendously. You know what I mean? With the commitment to Zoom Diallo. Congratulations to the Big Blue Nation, man. Zoom looks like a very special talent. And then we have some other players right now that's on campus, Donnie Freeman, and there's talks of the Wilkins kid and talks of the kid from, Colorado, the tall kid, that's very multi-dimensional. He can pass, he can shoot, he can do some tremendous things. So we'll see what happens, man. But the transfer portal is just bananas right now. But here's what I want to touch base on right now. The Oklahoma Sooners softball program versus the Arkansas Razorbacks women's softball program. Oklahoma has that tradition of just being great. Legendary program. Patty Gasso and company, they're in full throttle. But I feel like they have met a pretty close match right now. With the series going on with the Arkansas Razorbacks. It was a close one the other night, but Patty Gasso and company, the legendary poised, cool, calm, and collective coach, she got them over the hump again, and they weaseled their way out to an 8-7 victory. And it just seems like they're one of those squads, bro, that everything could be going downhill, it seems like, all game. Arkansas could put the bat on the ball, but Oklahoma is still one of those programs that you can never count them out. You have to play the full game, every inning, every step of the way, because one crack of the bat could change the whole trajectory of the game, and we've seen that. But they weasel out an 8-7 victory once again and pull off a barn burner. Oklahoma got great contribution out of Isabella. Emerging with the big time hit in the clutch. Lexi McDaniel, is that it? Alyssa Parker. Audrey Lowry, she shows some poise on the mound. There's something about Patty Gasso that she always has her team ready to play, is what it seems to me. And not only ready to play, but with a consistency in the mind state of a champion. It's incredible, man. They're doing it every year, every season. So they're top notch in there once again. So shout out to Patty Gasso and those girls for staying locked in. Nick Mangione, Kentucky baseball head coach, was ejected from the game. But the big story ended up being Braxton Van Cleave, number 24, which is one of my favorite numbers. It's actually considered my lucky number. But the freshman, Braxton Van Cleave, can you believe it? I got to touch base on this because, to me, for one, I do legendary stuff. I do authentic stuff myself, and I want to make sure I cover baseball. You know what I mean? I was a baseball kid coming up, nice on the diamond, I must say, at an early age, and it was a major part of my childhood. You know what I mean? But I noticed that there's not a tremendous amount of baseball coverage, and I don't mind doing that, so let's do it. And this deserves tremendous highlight, but Braxton Van Cleave, let's get back to it. The kid, the freshman from Arlington, Texas, who actually sit out his senior season at Mansfield High School suffering from an injury, but with everything that's transpired, he still received preseason All-American honors, and he was born with like this foot that he was promised to never be able to run by the doctors or whatever, but to my understanding. But a walk-off grand salami to seal the deal last night against Vanderbilt. What a major moment for this kid. One hit on the season, 0-2 pitch, walk-off grand salami to win. 5-2 W in front of 4,500 fans, of course, at the Kentucky Proud Park. But intriguing story behind the kid. What a big-time clutch hit that actually, I feel like, regained some fresh air within the Lexington baseball community, because Kentucky's just been hindered and derailed by injuries this season. Shout out to Mangione. That's my guy. I really rock with Coach Mangione. But yeah, it's been a battle. You know what I mean? And this moment was kind of one of those uplifting moments that was a much needed spark in the ball club, and definitely in the dugout they needed it. Major shout out to the Kentucky Wildcats baseball program. The moment it punctured a night where both teams, the Aces, they were dealt on the mound. Like I said, the coach was ejected, which is quite humorous. You know, baseball ejections are always just funny. They start to flipping out, and usually, you know, the old school ones where they used to just battle the umpire, and the coach, he'll run out on the field and just be, you know, giving it to him, you know, trying to cook him verbally. That's interesting. But yeah, definitely the Cats, they've had all kinds of injuries. They've been in the back half of the Southeastern Conference play. The Cats entered the ninth inning trailing 2-1 before the leadoff single from Luke Lawrence, an infield hit by Jace Tharnish put 2 on base. Ethan Hindle laid down a potential sacrifice bunt, but Vanderbilt didn't cover the first base, and everyone was safe to load the bases. After a pair of strikeouts, Van Cleave fell behind 0-2. And before delivering the perfect swing, sent his teammates in a celebration. You know what I mean? And then he just rounded the bases. And that moment, it sent chills, because I remember those moments as a kid, just making the big hits and smacking the long ball over the fence. You know what I mean? I can only imagine how that feels hitting the grand slam as a freshman on a big college plateau. So Kentucky, they're 26-10 on the season, 8-8 in SEC play. UK 17-3 at Kentucky Proud Park in 2026. UK is 144th and 72 since the beginning of 2023. That's just some fun facts. And here's some more fun facts. UK coach Nick Mangione is in his 10th season, and now 319 and 202 career record. Mangione is the second winningest coach in school history. Mangione is 121 out of 132 in SEC games. He is 69 and 55 in home SEC games overall, 57-46 at Kentucky Proud Park. But yo, let's get to business. And I just like beating Vanderbilt and stuff. Let me throw that out there real quick. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's always nice when the Commodores take a loss. But outfielder Braxton Van Cleave, yo, he went 1 for 4 with a walk-off grand slam. Those clutch moments. Like, you could be down. It's within anything. It's within life. It's within sports. It's within your career, business, entrepreneurship, anything. You could be down. You always have to leave that cushion of confidence and that moment of confidence to be like, yo, there's always room for growth. Don't never give up. It could be looking down and it could be looking gloomy, dark, down and out. You know what I mean? We've all been there. But once you fall, you have to get up. That's the key. You know what I mean? So Braxton Van Cleave, man, big shout out to the kid. It was his first home run of his career. It was just the second hit of his career. It was the Cats' first walk-off grand slam since Riley Mahone versus Alabama in 2016. So those are big fun facts, man. But let's get to business with this. I don't usually cover a lot of this, but NBA, you know what I mean? It gets his gripes and his complaints and about the league, you know, not being as interesting as it used to be, not being as catchy, you know, losing interest, allegedly, you know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people that still watch it because it's entertainment. But the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors, they were battling last night for the in-play game. Basically, it's the matchup between two teams trying to see who's going to make the playoffs. They roasted the Warriors. The Warriors got completely cooked. I'm just going to keep it plain and simple like that. You know what I mean? It feels like unusual territory for Steph and them, but and Draymond and company, Steve Kerr, they have that championship mentality about them, and they have rings to show it. but eliminated from playoff contention by the Phoenix Suns. We usually don't see that.
Wow.
You know, I feel like it's unfamiliar territory for them. And some people kind of look at it like the fall of a dynasty, you know what I mean? Or has the dynasty already failed? You be the judge. Let me know in the comments. Has the Golden State Warriors already dwindled so low to where the dynasty was already over? Or is this the moment right here? To me, this is significant. But let me talk about Goodwin. He showed up. He came to play for the Phoenix Suns. Magnificent play on both ends. He had 19, 6 boards, but he had 6 steals. Wow. Talk about lack of ball protection. You know what I mean? You got to protect the basketball. That goes back down to the basics. Yo, but Jalen Green, he was cooking them boys. He had 36. He had 8 triples. Cooking them. They didn't have an answer for him, bro. Like, the combination of Jalen Green with Devin Booker and Goodwin showing out and playing like that, I don't feel like they had a chance the whole matchup. And in the fourth quarter, they started just airing them out, bro. Just really stomping a mud hole in them to where they couldn't come back. But one thing is for certain, for definitely. Yo, respectfully, I'm not going to hold you. Steph needs some help, man. Obviously. Obviously, Steph needs some help with Jimmy Butler sitting out there and just on the sideline being unavailable. Yo, Steph need more help, man. And the way he tried to control the game, you could tell. He would hit a triple, they come down. Suns will score. He would splash something, they come down and score. Then he might come down the court, try to get fouled, taking it through the lane. You know what I mean? Trying to draw a foul, and he just comes up empty with missed field goals. So that's when you need that second or third guy to step up and be like, yo, let me take some of the scoring load off your hands, Steph, because as great as Steph is, he would have had to score 60 a game. You know, he would have had to score 60 in this one for them to even have a chance, I feel like. So, but shout out to the Phoenix Suns, you know, entering the playoffs. There was some petty ejections at the end of the game. To me, it looked, I don't know what to take from that situation, but there was an ejection. I think it was either Booker or Draymond Green. You know how Draymond get, you know, going off at the mouth and everything, you know what I mean? But, yo, they cooked Golden State, bro. Like, straight up. So, is this the end of a dynasty to you? Or has the dynasty already dwindled and tanked before this moment? But, yo, that's just some fun sports talk. I'll be back with some more stuff. Thanks for rocking with me. Appreciate y'all checking in with me. Let's get the business.
Yo,